Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to my top 200 board games of all time. Here we go into 180. It is Temple Run. Temple Run is the game named after the app. Basically, you're following a modular board where you're trying to chuck these dice in a limited time and try to get your guys far along the path as you can go. Now, of course, you're going to get caught by their little demon monkey lizards, whatever they're called, and the last person standing wins. This is a very fun game. It feels very thematic and just like the app. As I said every year, the reason I loved it so much was because I used to play the app a lot. Now I don't, which means I rarely play the game. Though oddly enough, we do usually play this game every once in a while. And when I say we, I mean me and the missus. The missus loves this game. She actually will play this game with me. I wouldn't say she loves it. She'll play it with me. She's okay with it. Also, she knows that I usually screw up and die. Because when you're throwing the dice, sometimes you'll end your turn on a trap. And you're thinking, why didn't you count out your spaces, Matt, before re-rolling your die? Because you're under a time limit. So you don't think sometimes, you're like, okay, 5, that's good enough to get away from him. And then you fall right into one of the traps on the board. Really love this game. It is a lot of fun. Now in the past, let me see, 3 years ago, it was number 27 when I was playing the app. Then it moved down to 78 when I was playing it, but playing the app, but not as much. And then last year I'd stopped playing it and it went down to 109. It just fell out of my top 100. So I'm not surprised to see it fall 71 more spots here. But it is a fun game. I do enjoy playing it. Temple Run. Number 179 is a new game to my collection. Is Everyone Loves a Parade. In this game, basically you are playing cards and collecting cards to try to get the best float for one of the 3 or 4 parking spaces on the board. There are these cards and you deal out 3 per player, and there are these pieces on the street where you can put your float on there. But you want the best one, and you roll these die and predetermine who is getting what. And then say, okay, these people like flags, these people like balloons, these people like banners, and you're trying to collect those 3 types of cards. And also colors, because there are colors in there too. They like the color blue, red, yellow. And it is a little fun because you can always manipulate the dice. You can re-roll the dice. You can add dice to something, take dice away from something. And of course, you're trying to get the biggest score ever. Now, this is a little small box game and it has a very unique theme. But like I said in my review, I wish it was a Mardi Gras theme. With a Mardi Gras theme, you could add more decorations, throw more beads, stuff like that, candy and stuff. You could have had, I think, more options if you would have made it Mardi Gras, and it would have been even better theme, because Mardi Gras is something that a lot of people know and a lot of people go to. That's still a parade. But still, regardless of that, Everyone Loves a Parade is a fun game, and that's why it's number 179. At number 178 is the epic dungeon crawl, Mice and Mystics and Tail Feathers. I add this in there even though it is a different game. It is connected to the world of Mice and Mystics. Man, I love Mice and Mystics. I think it's just a phenomenal game. I plan on, when my girls get older, to play this with them. It's it's not too scary a dungeon crawl, plus mice are really cool. I think kids would really love this. It's moved down on my list a lot in the past few years. It was at 65 when it hit because I was playing through it and enjoying it. Then it went to 116 last year because I'd already played through it and wasn't playing it anymore. And now I'm still not playing it anymore. Folks, I got other dungeon crawls I'm trying to make through right now. So Mice and Mystics just isn't getting the time that it used to. And that's the problem with a dungeon crawl. Once you go all the way through it, it's hard to say, okay, let's start it all over again. Sure, you can make up your own adventures, I guess, but it is fun going through all the adventure books. Tail Feathers is more like a miniatures game in a way, miniature/board game a little bit. And I thought I wouldn't like it, but because I love Mice and Mystics so much, I decided to give it a shot, and I love it. I love it. I think it's nice. And the sculpts for these mice and the birds are beautiful. They're both really good games, even though Tail Feathers is a lot different than Mice and Mystics because it's just a different game. Being set in that world, yeah, it fits well in my opinion. Number 177 is another new game to my collection. It's called Gisborne. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, you're trekking through, I believe it's New Zealand, and you're playing cards to move faster, and you're stopping in different cities to collect some cards, and you're stopping and going, and you have to play all the same color card. There's gold, silver, and bronze cards. And of course, you're trying to make it to the end. It's a kind of a racing game. Now, as I said in my review, the game is kind of broken, because you cash in your cards at the end. People on the road cash in their cards. Well, you can just sit in a city and just like gather up a ton of cards at the end. You see you're not going to make it to first, so gather up a bunch of cards and win. And I think toward the last place, someone figured out that strategy. Oh, it was me. And I won, and I didn't come anywhere close to being first or finishing at all. And so we decided that was going to be tough, because now, why move? You just sit there and just build up cards until you run out of cards in the day, then everyone count their cards. It was a terrible oversight by the designers of the game. However, it is remedied, and we haven't worked this out completely. At first, I remember when I did the review, I said, okay, for every space you're away from the finish line, you're going to lose a victory point. Well, that still doesn't make up for it. So we're going to say, hey, at the first 5 spaces is 1 victory point. The next 5 spaces is 2 victory points. The next 5 spaces is 4 victory points. So you're really losing more victory points the farther back you are. Now, I haven't played it since then, but I really want this game to work, because I do think it's cool. I like the theme. It's very unique, and I like the look of the game. However, if that doesn't solve the problem, this game probably won't even be in my collection. But for right now, I do enjoy the game. I enjoy the theme, and I want it to work. I hate that the game's broken. If the game wasn't broken, this would probably be in my top 100. I mean, we really were enjoying the game until we figured it out that, oh, you don't have to move at all. But if I can come up with the right rule set, and maybe I need to look online, maybe there is some rules for this, but it is a fun game if no one knows about that rule break. 176 is also a new game to my collection, and it is Queen's Games, of course. It is Aqua Romana, and this one you are creating aqueducts through Rome, and you're using your pawns and playing these tiles and moving across the aqueduct. Now, the cool thing about this is that there are these master builders on the side of the board, and whatever is on their chest is the tile that you have to use. And you could have 2 options, or 1 option, or in some cases no options, because there's no master builder around you. Because every time you use a master builder, he moves 1 space around the board. And so sometimes you don't want to use one master builder, because it's going to be in line with another player, and you don't want that player to get that good tile. Like I said, there is a clockwork, cogs of a strategy in here, like a tit for tat and everything, and you really have to start thinking, ooh, which one do I want to use? I have 2 here, or I don't want to use this one, but I hope someone uses this one so I can move this guy here. So I'm going to keep this guy here. Where else can I move? Well, this guy here. Now, another thing on top of that is that you can score fast in this game. You kind of want to score fast. You think you got a good aqueduct, end it there, because on most of these there's a little podium on the score tracker, but there's only room for usually just 1 person. Unless it's like the number 7, I think there's room for 2. But still, if I had a 13-pointer or 15-pointer, let's say, but someone claimed the 15 before me, I'd have to move to the 14. And if someone already claimed that, I'd have moved to the 13. So all this work about trying to get the biggest aqueduct may not be your best strategy, because you may want to go ahead and score now, because if you don't, someone else is going to beat you that same number, and you're just doing all this work for nothing. You're going to be losing numbers. I saw someone, they had 13, but we'd already had 13, and they moved all the way back to 6. I mean, that was huge. That's more than half of your points you lost, but that's because they waited too long to end that aqueduct, because they were thinking, well, maybe I can get a little bit further. Sometimes you got to end it soon to go ahead and score fast. I like that about the game too. And of course, when one person scores all 4 of their people, the game is over. Now, that doesn't mean that person wins, but it also gives them advantage, Well, I'd rather score 5 points than, lose by 7 or something, and maybe they just go ahead and end the game. I don't know, or maybe they think they got it with those extra little points there. There is surprisingly a lot of strategy in here. I do love the game, Aqua Romana. My number 175 is a game that did not get played this year, Egad 300. 300 is a phenomenal game. Do not let the pieces and the artwork fool you. This is based off the movie. I got it when I was watching the movie. I was looking at the movie going, this is great. I think it was the sequel I was looking at, because I was like, did they have a board game about this? Sure enough, they did. I bought it. It was like $10 or $5. It was cheap. Wasn't expensive at all. And when I got it, I was kind of disappointed. It's like, oh, the pieces are just these, coins basically you flip over, and they're cardboard. And I was like, this probably isn't that good. And I brought it around to my nephews and, all right, let's play it. And I thought, well, it's fun playing with the Spartans, but probably not the Persians. And I played with the Persians, and it's great. It's great. With the Spartans, you're trying to get 100 glory by killing off all the Persians. With the Persians, you're trying to stop them in under 6 rounds. As the Persians, you can push through Hell's Gate. And if you can get to their camp, that'd be amazing. I haven't gotten to their camp. I've been like 2 spaces away before. Spartans are really hard to kill, especially when they're injured. Persians die really quick. But you want to get them out of those gates, because once they get out of the gates, they're much easier to kill when they're out in the open. Just something with the gameplay. The gates make it hard for you. You only get to put 3 people in, and 3 Spartans can definitely take on 3 of your people. But if it's an open field, you have more fighters to take on those Spartans. And so getting them to come out of the gates is really good, just like the strategy was historically. So the game is actually very historically balanced too. There is a lot of great stuff. Now, in return, if I've never seen this happen, if the Spartans can go march up the army and kill Xerxes, they've won automatically. They've won automatically, but I never see that happening in a game. But this game has a lot of strategy. It is surprisingly fun. The reason, I think last year it barely made my list, because it's a great game. It's a 2-player game. It was number 99, so it dropped 76 spots. Folks, that's because it's a 2-player game, and I rarely, if ever, get time to play a 2-player game. So it drops a lot only because it did not get played, but still a great game, especially if you love the movie. I think you'd like this game. My number 174 is going to make someone in my board game group very upset with me. I think this is one of her favorite games we played this year, and I'll be honest, I love Celestia. I love it. It's a great game. It's a kind of a cooperative push your luck where everyone takes turns being the captain, and you're rolling the dice, and the certain symbols are popping up, and you got to have those cards to match those symbols to move to the next level. But before you do, you need to ask anyone if they want to abandon ship. Now, abandoning ship gives you the points on that card, maybe give you an item too. But if you say, no, we trust you, captain, and you move ahead, and they don't have the cards, they reveal they don't have the cards, you all die, I guess, and go back to 0. It's great because the captain cannot jump ship. So the captain wants to always pretend to be very confident that they have it, or maybe act a little worried. It's a fake and double fake here, because I got this, but I'm going to pretend I don't have it. It's like, okay, who's coming with me? I say a little timidly. Someone goes, I'm out. And you're like, yes, and then we're moving ahead. Or say, all right, folks, don't worry, I got this, move ahead. And they're like, no, you don't, and they'll jump out, and sure enough, I go down in flames. I love that. It's a bluffing game. It's a bluffing game more than anything. Now, I do have the 2 little expansions, a little help and a little initiative. I get both of them mixed up, but whichever one, the last one, I think a little initiative just came out this year. A little initiative, not that good. Not that good. You rarely use it. I know it's got a little mini ship and everything. It's got some extra rules. I love it. But if you shuffle those cards into the deck, you'll hardly ever see them. You'll hardly ever see them. Whereas a little help is actually pretty cool, because there's obviously a little help. You can help the captain get further, or you can sometimes jump back into the boat after you jumped out. Really nice card there. So there's a lot of extra dynamics to that expansion. I'm not sure. I'm not sold on the initiative, little initiative yet. But however, I will be honest. I played with it once, once, I think. We only played with it once. The second time we just couldn't get to the cards, so I didn't get to play with the cards, and the second time was when we played it, because I put the cards at the front so we could play the stupid expansion. But anyway, yeah, Celestia is a great game. It's a new game, so I had to be conservative on it, but I know there's people in my game group who'd be like, man, this is a top 20, top 10 game for me. And I agree, it is a lot of fun. A lot of these games on my list are fun. So, hey, Celestia, 174. Speaking of great games, Garbage Day. I got this game for free last year at BGG SpringCon, and I was like, oh, this game looks like garbage. Literally, the art looks terrible, but in it, you're basically just playing cards on top of the trash can, trying to hide your trash from mom, and hopefully it won't tip over, because each card has these 2 puncture holes in them, and they have to be able to see clear down to the bottom. So you're spreading those cards out on that trash can. Folks, we have gone. We played a game. We got all through the deck, of the base deck. I've actually had to shuffle in the expansions now, because we actually made it through the base deck in the game, which I thought was impossible. But we had the most beautiful umbrella of cards. I mean, we were really skilled on how to put those cards up there. This is a game that whenever it comes out, everyone loves it. My nephews love it. My board game group loves it. Everyone loves I love Garbage Day. But just because last year, I think it just missed out. It was, 111. So it dropped 62 spots. And to be honest, that's just because I'm just getting new games. That's all it is I'm getting new games added to my collection. And for some reason, this game getting pushed down. But I see this game for clearance prices of $5 and $3. And folks, this is brand new with the expansion packs being $1 each. I can't recommend this enough. I know there's a special edition, a silver can. I don't know what that would have in it, but it costs a little bit more. But either way, this game is surprisingly fun. Don't let the art fool you. Don't let my description of the game fool you either. It's a great game. I think this is actually be a game for, it was definitely a game for light gamers as well as kids, as well as families. It fits well with anything in a game group. Garbage Day. My number 172 was number 107 last year. I remember bemoaning that it had fallen out of my top 100, even though I'd just gotten the game in earlier that year and loved it, and now it's moved even further down. What's that, 65 spots? Let's just get to it. The Grimm Forest. Grimm Forest, you are playing one of the 3 little pigs, or Mama Pig, because we got to have 4 players, and you are playing cards to decide where you're going to go, to the hay fields, to the wood forest, or to the brick making place. And you want to be the only one there, because if you're the only one there, you're going to get all the resources. If other pigs are there, you're going to have to share with those other pigs. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to build 3 houses. Either straw, wood, or brick. It can be one of each. It can be 3 straw. It can be 3 brick. Straw is the least amount of points for a house, and brick would be the most. So even though someone may have built 3 straw houses, they end the game, but they may not have won. If you have, completed wood and 2 uncompleted brick houses, you may have beat them out. And I like that about the game. And there's always more wheat than there is wood, and there's always more wood than there is brick. And then there's another place called the Market. It has like 1 of each, kind of a variety there, just for 4 players. The game has the most beautiful art, has the most beautiful miniatures, and is one of the most beautiful games I own. This is really a great game, and it's got that fairy tale theme. I really enjoy it. It just keeps getting pushed down because new games are getting added to my list. And the other thing is, sometimes of all these beautiful miniatures, you rarely get to play with all of them because you have to have the card come up in order to use the miniature. I mean, talk about overproduction. This game was overproduced, but I'm not complaining because, like I said, it could be one of the most beautiful games I own, to be honest. I mean, the inserts are beautiful. They're perfect. I don't know of another box that has better inserts either. Everything about Grimm Forest is wonderful. If you want a light family game, I can't recommend this one enough. Grimm Forest. And finally, at number 171 is a new game added to my collection, as always. It's called Bootleggers. Eagle Gryphon Games came out with this game, and it's about, you're in the roaring 20s or 30s where probation is around, and so you're basically, you have your own steel, you're making your own liquor, and you're going to sell it at all the bars and clubs. But of course, you're a gangster, so you're also playing, it's almost like some area majority on the clubs to have, control over them. If you have the majority control, meaning you have more of your gangsters there than anyone else combined, then you get a cut of all the profits of anyone who sells there. If you have I think that's ownership or something. Majority is like you have one of the most there. You don't have, like there's 6 people who are on that spot. You have, or 7 people. You have 3, someone else has 2, someone else has 2. Okay, so you're leading, so you have the majority. You get the prime parking space to sell more liquor than they do. Minority just lets you park in whatever space is available and lets you sell some liquor there. And it depends on the value too. There's so much strategy in this game because you're making deals, because you're bidding on trucks, you're bidding on characters, you're bidding on extra powers, extra steals, but whoever sold the most liquor gets the copper figure. The cop comes at you, and if you roll, I think it's a 5, you don't make any whiskey there. So it's it's a neat little catch-up mechanism that's thematic too, because of course the cop's going to go after the person who's giving them the most trouble, right, selling the most liquor, and the copper figure is going to bounce every round usually. So this is a great game, very thematic. I'm really shocked. You can find the base game for super cheap. I love Eagle Griffin games. A lot of their games are really fun. I'd always had my eye on this. I'm so glad I got it. I bought it because it came with the expansion, and the expansion, the Boardwalk, is pointless. It's pointless. We've played a few times, but I don't see why. All of the Boardwalk adds is, well, it adds a few extra cards, but it adds a casino. A casino makes the bar legit business, and so you can sit back and make money, but you're not selling liquor. Well, my question is, who would want to visit your casino and give you victory points? No one. Now, the copper can never visit you, but then again, why would you get a casino? You know, I mean, you're paying out more for the liquor, so it may attract more people, like I said, but again, those people don't want to give you points, you know, and let you win, so why would they go to your casino? I don't know. It's just kind of confusing to me. We've had it available a few times, but no one's ever taken advantage of it, and maybe one person did at the end. I can't remember. Went legit at the end, but they already had the win, so I don't know. The Boardwalk is not really worth it at all. It's kind of a worthless expansion, so don't worry about it. Get the base game. Base game's really fun. You will feel in that air. You'll be talking, wheeling and dealing, because you can loan out trucks to other people who need trucks. You can, and even though you don't have any gangsters in that casino or bar, if you made them a favor, maybe they'll let you come sell some of your liquor there. It's really nice because each casino has a limited amount of liquor that they are willing to buy. Man, I can go on and on about this game. Really fun game. Bootleggers, number 171. Hey folks, looks like we're just cruising through this top 200. Come back and join me next time as I talk about 10 more. See you then.